two in our workflow. You see, the thing is a workflow. It starts from A all the way to Z, right? From one to the last number. And so we take that information that ChatGPT has given to us and we put it into our external database, which is called Craft. So here is where everything, all our medical knowledge is. This is what I said on the flyer, that how to organize medical knowledge. So you organize your medical knowledge by subjects, by topics, subtopics, and all of that. You put all the information here. And so everything is right here in your external database, easily accessible. You can access it on your phone, your laptop, online, everywhere. And then you can easily search for anything that you want to search for. You can easily edit any information, add even more information, and all of that. So I'll show you how the external database is like. So this is the external database app called Craft. Now, there are a lot of other apps out there which are second brain apps, but the one that I love using is Craft because it's very easy to use and it's basically as powerful as the most powerful app out there, which is called Notion. I don't know if anyone of us has heard of Notion, but Notion is very powerful. But with this power comes with a ton of complexity. And as students, we want to have something that gives us less friction so that we can maintain consistency with it. And that's why I use Craft. Also, there's an educational plan which for students or anybody in academia gives us the pro version for free. So for free for 1 year. So if you look here, when I go to my settings and I check on my subscription. Now have the pro plan all the way till January 2027. So if you're a student, this is actually a no-brainer app to use. Now, as for the app, there is just a ton of features inside that I can't go over them right now. But the basic concept is that you have a place whereby you keep all your medical knowledge at, which you can easily access on any device that you have. So whether you're on the world, you are in your room, you are walking around anywhere, you can easily access any information that you want to access on any topic because it's right here in your second brain, right? Or in your external database. How I've been able to customize it is that it's not just for medicine, right? I use it for different areas of my life. So when you click on the folders, you can group the different areas of your life here. So you have final year, you have fifth year Bible studies and all of that. And then you group them with different subfolders and documents and all of that. If I press on my final year folder, right, this is the control center of everything that I do in medical school. So let me remove the sidebar. So here you find out that you have final year and then you have your subjects well arranged into these folders. Then I have some important documents here. Some of them are my prompts that I use for ChatGPT, the prompts I use for Notebook LM, the script for today's tutorial, and all of that. And then I also have this timer here, which is a very important and essential thing I feel like everyone should have. So with Craft, you can customize your documents the way you want them to be. So I just put a picture of my parents here so that it will motivate me. So the thing is that you have like 29 weeks, 0 days. Currently, we have 29 weeks, 0 days to our final exams. And so with this, I don't just, even though I may be lazing around, I may be going up and down. Once I open my laptop or I look on my phone, I know that you have exactly 29 weeks to final exams. So I have to be, up and doing, right? So it's a good reminder to have this sort of timer. What I've done is that I've also saved it in my sidebar, so wherever I am, I can easily see it. Now, to the bread and butter of this whole system. If I press on, let's say, my medicine folder, how to organize your medical knowledge is not just in lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, right? You want to organize the medical knowledge in different diseases and specific specialties. So when you open medicine, you have cardiology, GI, infectious disease, neurology, and all of that. And so all the diseases that you are studying have been grouped into different specialties. And the beauty of this app is that anything I do here, I can easily share with another person. So don't worry about how will I be able to create this and all of that. If I click on my cardiology folder, I now have every single cardiology topic that I'm studying right here in this app. So with the press of a button, I have every single thing in cardiology right here. Now, the ones that are colorful like this are the ones that I'm studying. The ones that are left have not yet touched. But basically, what is going to happen is that all your topics or all your information are neatly arranged right here. And so that's how you structure your information. You structure it based on the courses that you are doing. You have the subfolders, which is present, the subspecialties, and then you have the actual topics themselves. So it helps in being able to locate anything that you want to find. The beauty of it again is that wherever I am, I can easily search for any information I want to search for. So let's say I am on my home page and I want to search for something that just popped up into my mind, right? Let's say I wanted to search for let me see, biliary. So I wanted to search for biliary peritonitis. Like it just popped up into my mind, and then I press on enter. So it's going to show me every single place that biliary peritonitis has been, like this. So when I then scroll there, I can scroll there and find out where that thing in biliary peritonitis is, and I can easily access that information with just a press of a button. So here you can see wherever that information has been. Like you can easily search for it. So the advantage of this is that let's say you're on the wall, you want to search for something quick. Instead of opening your slides and having to scroll, like if it's like 150 slides, for example, colorectal cancer like this is 150 slides. I don't know how many of us have opened Profiok slides, but it's 150. So if you are searching for, let's say, TNM staging, right? And you want to be able to find where the TNM staging is, you now have to scroll a lot. But then when you press on a search bar, you just type TNM, it's going to show you everywhere TNM staging is. And then you can easily go there. So again, how have I incorporated this? How does this make it not to be like any normal digital note-taking system and all of that? Because there are a ton out there, right? How do we stand out? How do we make sure that all of this isn't some fancy thing for some rich kids, but these are things that are actually going to help us in our studies? And that's the retention aspect. So we talked about understanding, organizing, and memorization. Here is where we organize the information. Now, how do we make sure that this information here, we are able to retain it? So if I open the intestinal obstruction that I got from church, right, I just put a cover photo here. What happens is that we have the questions, the short answer questions right here. When you click on the short answer questions, we have arranged them in a format that we call toggles. This format called toggles allows us to be able to put in the work into doing more active techniques. That's active recall, right? Actively trying to be able to remember the answer for a particular question, actively trying to be able to retrieve that information from memory. Because the thing about memory is that you don't retain by just absorbing, you retain by retrieving. The more difficult it is for you to be able to retrieve an information, the more easier it takes. And so when I see a question like define intestinal obstruction, when you look at ChatGPT, right? If we check the way ChatGPT gave it to us in the raw format, you find out that it's just a passive way of studying. So define intestinal obstruction, I easily see it and I feel like, oh, I already know it. But then when you have it in this toggle format, you are forced to actually think about the answer before you give it. So let's say I know the answer for intestinal obstruction. I press on the toggle and I easily reveal the answer. Then I press on it back to hide it. This is the way you are able to, one of the ways you are able to incorporate active recall into your studies by using this toggle feature. So when you press on it, you see the answer. When you press on it, it closes. Again, I have it color coded. Some of the questions are color coded because they help you to be able to revise your weak points. So one thing that we mostly do when we are studying is that when we revise, we want to start revising from the start of the topic, or we want to revise on the easy areas so that we feel good. But then it's very important that you tackle your weak areas, right? The weak points in the topic. They are the ones that you won't be able to do well when it comes to exams. And so you want to tackle the weak areas. So let's say for me, this question was my weak area, right? What I'll do is that I'm going to highlight the question and then with a simple command, change its color to red. So now, when it is red, I come back, let's say another time to revise this topic. I go straight to where the red questions are. And so this was a weak area for me, and I tried to be able to remember the information for that particular question. If let's say I remember the information and it is correct, I then change the color to say green or yellow or basically any color. I just use a traffic lights one. And so testing yourself on your weak areas is a very, very important thing to do when it comes to revising, such that you don't feel or you don't have false competence. You actually know that I'm testing myself on my weak areas. I'm making sure that the ones that I already know, I'm retaining that information. And the ones that I don't know, I'm focusing and hammering more there. So then again, when you click back, you'll see that the concept of the external database, if you remember from the first slide, was to be able to put everything into one place. And that's what we are doing. So I want to put all my internal abstraction questions, right? Case study questions, word notes, OSCEs, everything. I want to make sure that it's right here, such that wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I can easily open this document and everything about the intestinal abstraction is here. Again, this is the exam summary that ChatGPT gives you. Now, the notes, if you have seen from the toggles I was talking about, it incorporates active recall. So again, when I'm going through the notes, I make them into toggles. By making them into toggles, I'm forced to actually try and remember whatever is there. So as you can see again, it's color coded. So before we started this one, I was going through my notes and I found that I learned intestinal obstruction yesterday. But this particular point, I wasn't able to answer it well. So I've color coded it. And so when I color code it, the next time if I come and I say maybe what is acute or chronic intestinal obstruction, I say maybe this is the answer. Then I click on it to review the answer. And if I'm correct, I simply just change this color code to say green, and then it has changed. So basically, what this happens is that, as I said earlier, it allows me to focus on my weak areas, right? And so that when I'm revising, I'm able to actually revise efficiently. One of the points of all of these I'm showing you is that it's not just you to learn in less amount of time. Some people will tell you tips and things that will let you learn in less amount of time. But the thing is that the work that you are putting in, right? The effort, the time that you put into studying, you want to make sure that that time is as effective and as efficient as possible. And so you don't want to waste time. You don't want to be doing things that are in the moment might feel good, but are actually not allowing you to be able to retain the information. So you want to make sure that everything that you are doing is effective, allowing you to be able to retain information and get good grades in your exams. And so that's why we need to decrease our reliance on passive techniques and focus more on active techniques, techniques that will actually help us to be able to test ourselves on any information that we are learning. The last part is that you want to test yourself after studying, right? As I said, with the MCQ questions and with the case study questions. And so these ones are the ones that chat has already generated. And then I put everything here with a simple copy and paste. So here I can test myself and see my understanding on the topic. So here you have everything with respect to intestinal obstruction. Some other cool features is that you can put tags right there into the app. Let's say you need to do this, you need to do that. You can put tags right there into the app. So if let's say I search for seizures, if it's still there. If I search for seizure disorders, I think this one is the one from childhood. Yeah, so it's from childhood. So if I search for seizure disorders and it opens, you can see here that I put in some tags right here into the document. So let's say I'm learning and I want to do something, right? Maybe I have to search for something and I can't do it at that particular point in time. I put in a tax. It appears in the tax manager aspect of the app, and I'm able to see it. You can put in reminders. So when you click on the reminders, maybe I have to do this, I have to do that. You can put in reminders. There's just a whole lot of features that I don't want to go into right now about the app and about building an external database like this, which helps you greatly in your studies. The last aspect of